أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن أعرض عن ذكري فإن له معيشة ضنكا ونحشره يوم القيامة أعمى قال رب لم حشرتني أعمى وقد كنت بصيرا قال كذلك أتتك آياتنا فنسيتها وكذلك اليوم تنسى وكذلك نجزي من أسرف ولم يؤمن بآيات ربه ولعذاب الآخرة أشد وأبقى أفلم يهد لهم كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون يمشون في مساكنهم إن في ذلك لآيات لأولي النهى ولولا كلمة سبقت من ربك لكان لزاما وأجل مسمى فاصبر على ما يقولون وسبح بحمد ربك قبل طلوع الشمس وقبل غروبها ومن آناء الليل فسبح وأطراف النهار لعلك ترضى ولا تمدن عينيك إلى ما متعنا به أزواجا منهم زهرة الحياة الدنيا لنفتنهم فيه ورزق ربك خير وأبقى وأمر أهلك بالصلاة واصطبر عليها لا نسألك رزقا نحن نرزقك والعاقبة للتقوى صدق الله العظيم.
Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Technology, Honorable Aminat Shauna, Ambassador of Japan to the Maldives, Her Excellency Takuchi Midori, and heads of diplomatic missions in the Maldives, Resident Representative of JICA Maldives, distinguished keynote speaker Dr. Hide Sakaguchi, Deputy Vice Chancellors, Deans, and heads of various faculties, representatives from our stakeholders, students, and other invitees. Assalamu alaikum, and a warm welcome to everyone attending this symposium on ocean governance, issues and challenges. My name is Fatma Raya Sharif, a second-year student of the course program Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and International Relations. On behalf of MNU, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you to this symposium on ocean governance. This symposium provides an avenue for all government partners to discuss issues and challenges of ocean governance to the Maldives. This special symposium is planned as a commemorative event to mark the 55th anniversary of Maldives and Japan. This session began with recitation of Holy Quran by Al-Hafiz Muhammad Riaz, Associate Lecturer of Faculty of Sharia and Law. Now, I would like to take the opportunity to invite the Deputy Vice-Chancellor of Research and Enterprise, Dr. Aishat Shehnaz, to deliver the welcome remarks. Deputy Vice-Chancellor of Research and Enterprise, Dr. Aishat Shehnaz.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Guest of honor, Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Technology, Her Excellency Amna Chawna, Chancellor Dr. Hassan Hamid, Ambassador of Japan to the Maldives, Her Excellency Takeuchi Midori, keynote speaker of the symposium, President of the Ocean Policy Research Institute of Japan, Dr. Sagakuchi, Excellencies, presenters and participants of the symposium, distinguished invitees, staff and students of MNU. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you all. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to say a few words at the opening ceremony of the Ocean Governance Symposium and to welcome you all to this symposium and to MNU. It is an honor to have the Honorable Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Technology, Her Excellency Amna Chawna, as the chief guest, gracing us with her presence in this occasion to support us in our pursuit to create a culture of research and academic excellence at MNU. Thank you, Honorable Minister. We look forward to your inspiring words of advice for our presenters and participants of this symposium. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to commemorate the 55th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Japan and the Maldives, as well as the gratification of successful development partnership between the two countries, and to consolidate the existing ties between MNU and the people of Japan, MNU, in collaboration with the Embassy of Japan in the Maldives, has been conducting series of activities which could help serve or contribute to the development of academic excellence at MNU as well as nationally. At this juncture, on behalf of MNU, I would like to acknowledge and thank the Ambassador of Japan to the Maldives, Her Excellency Takeuchi Midori, and the Government of Japan for the close association with MNU and for the financial and technical assistance and for providing MNU with a variety of opportunities to generate knowledge for the transformational action needed to achieve a healthy, safe, resilient, and sustainably developed Maldives. I would also like to acknowledge and thank the keynote speaker, Dr. Sagakuchi, for graciously accepting our invitation to share his knowledge, experience, and expertise with us. Thank you. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, ocean governance has been a field of increasing importance globally. Though an undeveloped field of study in the Maldives, deliberating on the issues and challenges in ocean governance is highly relevant for the Maldives being an ocean state comprising of 99% water and 1% land. In addition, this initiative is an important initiative which could greatly benefit MNU in developing new study areas on ocean governance by exploring the experiences of Japan and the legal and administrative mechanisms in place as well-developed ocean state. As the existing laws or acts which regulates or addresses international or domestic ocean governance in the Maldives are limited, organizing a symposium on the subject matter of ocean governance can generate ideas in understanding the gaps in legal framework and in mobilizing support for drafting a legal framework for the ocean governance. Hence, it is heartening to see stakeholders from government institutions and NGOs participating in this symposium to share their expertise and experiences. Thank you, all the presenters and participants of the symposium. Before I conclude, allow me to also thank the Faculty of Arts team led by Asim Abdusattar and the marketing, IT, facility management, procurement, and other departments of MNU for their engagement and dedication towards this important academic event to make this symposium a success. I wish all the participants a rewarding symposium and hope this symposium will create opportunities for the participants to discuss merits and challenges associated with ocean governance and the way forward to develop politics and policy of ocean governance and legal framework for ocean governance in the Maldives. I wish all the participants a rewarding symposium. Thank you and wassalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, for the speech. The next in the agenda is a speech by the Ambassador of Japan to the Maldives, Her Excellency Takuchi Midori. I request Ambassador Her Excellency Takuchi Midori to deliver her speech.
Guest of honor, Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Technology, Her Excellency Aminat Shauna, Chancellor of the Maldives National University, Dr. Hassan Hamid, Chancellor, members, head of divisions of the staff of the Maldives National University, and President of the Ocean Policy Research Institute of Japan, Dr. Hide Sakaguchi, and my fellow officials, members of the diplomatic corps, and distinguished experts, speakers, students, and participants from various government entities. And ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to Maldives National University for convening this symposium and inviting me to say a few words. I'd also like to join our host in welcoming all participants, speakers, and experts to this platform. I'm very encouraged to see many practitioners coming together in support of this initiative, which is the first of its kind in Maldives, and we are very grateful for your sincere commitment, contribution, and efforts for promoting this very relevant and important field for the Maldives. We welcome the initiatives of the Maldives National University to host this symposium to develop strategies for Maldives to enhance conservation and sustainable use of ocean and resources and generate knowledge for the transformational action needed to achieve a healthy, safe, and resilient ocean for sustainable development. As part of the series of activities to commemorate the 55th anniversary of the establishment of the diplomatic relations between Japan and the Maldives. This will lead to promote generating evidence-based and innovative actions on the part of Maldives towards ocean management and achieving of the goal 14 of Sustainable Development Goals. Apart from this symposium, a team of MNU professors officials also conducted a research visit to Japan last December. The team met with esteemed Japanese universities and institutes, namely Ocean Policy Research Institute, CLIPS, Hiroshima University, and exchanged ideas for collaboration and partnership in this field. I'm very pleased to introduce today's keynote speaker, Dr. Hide Sakaguchi, President of the Ocean Policy Research Institute of the Sasakawa Peace Foundation of Japan, who flew all the way from Japan to share his knowledge and expertise. I'd like to extend my deepest appreciation to Dr. Sakaguchi for taking time and committing to this engagement. Distinguished guests, the oceans are a great gift of Earth. However, the threats facing the oceans are many, which include unsustainable and destructive fishing practices, illegal and unreported fishing, pollution from both land-based and ship-based resources, and maybe I should say plastics in the ocean is a serious issue now, and habitat destruction, the introduction of invasive species, ocean noise, ship strikes, the mining of minerals, and the extraction of oil and gas. The adverse impact result from these activities act cumulatively with the effect of ocean acidification, ocean warming, shifting currents, reduced and decreasing oxygen levels. While marine species might be able to withstand one type of or impact, more severely affected by the combination of all those. The governance of marine coastal area in many our international waters is primarily sectoral. The strategy is, however, for biodiversity and environment, fisheries, climate change, and poverty reduction are often developed and implemented by a diverse set of agencies. We need to understand and agree that cumulative impacts cannot effectively be managed in isolation, but needs an integral management, which means that we need to urgently discuss and develop a more holistic approach to ocean governance and involvement of more people in action. And international cooperation is also necessary. The United Nations has designated the year 2021 to 2030 as the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development. The UN held an ocean conference from 27th June to 1st July 2022 in Lisbon, Portugal. 6,000 delegates, including 24 heads of states, participated in the conference, which adopted the Declaration of Oceans. I was pleased to learn that Excellency Ines Chawna, Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Technology, also participated in this conference as a special representative of the President Ibrahim Mohammed Saleh. The Maldives, located at the key juncture in the sea lanes of the Indian Ocean, is a country that plays an important role in achieving stability and peace in the region. And as partners with common values such as the rule of law and the human rights, Japan and the Maldives, which share the common fate of being maritime states, can work together to realize a free and open Indo-Pacific. We sincerely hope that this symposium will provide an opportunity to bring ocean governance to the forefront of the national dialogue on sustainable development and further promote the Maldives' efforts in ocean governance. Distinguished participants, I urge all of you to take this full advantage of this timely and resourceful symposium. It is not only an opportunity for a rich exchange of ideas, but also for bringing together ocean stakeholders and agreeing on a new roadmap for improved ocean governance that can benefit ecosystem as well as people and their livelihood. Thank you very much. Shukriya.
As I reflect, Her Excellency's speech highlighted the special importance of ocean governance to a small island developing nation such as the Maldives and the need to find innovative solutions to address the issues faced. Thank you, Ambassador Takeuchi. Now, I would kindly like to request our distinguished speaker, Dr. Hide Sakaguchi, President of the Ocean Policy Research Institute of Japan and Executive Director of the Sasakawa Peace Foundation. Dr. Sakaguchi has been as president of the Ocean Policy Research Institute of the Sasakawa Peace Foundation since April 2021, and as an executive director of SPF since April 2022. Previously, he served as executive director at the Japan Agency for Marine Earth Science and Technology. He joined JAMSTEC in 2003 and led various earth science programs as the director of the Institute for Research on Earth Evolution and director of the Center of Mathematical Science and Advanced Technology. Dr. Hide Sakaguchi, president of the Ocean Policy Research Institute of Japan.
Thank you very much for such comprehensive introduction about me and distinguished guests and excellencies. Good morning. It's my great honor to see you here and to give a keynote speech this morning. Just presentation. Yes. Yeah, this is all. Sorry for taking time. Today I'd like to speak about on this topic. Then we'd like to think about the question: what is a comprehensive ocean policy, ocean governance, related to this symposium main theme? And the key word is comprehensive. Please keep it in your mind. And before getting into the main topic, I'd like to introduce what is Sasakawa Peace Foundation and what is Ocean Policy Research Institute. Sasakawa Peace Foundation is the largest Asian public interest foundation, founded in 1986, and the Ocean Policy Research Institute was founded before. It's founded in 1975 to support shipbuilding industry and ocean issues at that time. And then it merged in 2015 together. And here is a list of what Ocean Policy Research Institute is dealing with, a huge variety of ocean-related, from Arctic to tropical small island issues and governance, science, everything we covered. And also we try to support the Japanese government together with public sectors and also international organizations and many sectors. So let's get into why comprehensive ocean policy is important. As you can see, now it's many, very important items related to ocean policy or ocean governance, maritime security, blue economy, and climate change, and marine debris. But you can see no one has ocean, but everyone has ocean. This is very important. And then eventually, things happen not only in just one nation's EEZ, but it migrates and transcend from one nation's EEZ to the other all the time. So we need some international collaboration to solve all the problems. That is the issues. But this is a very simple schematic example what happened in Japan up to the year 2000, around 2000 years. And each individual, for example, MITE means Ministry of Economics and Trade and Import Industry, and MAFF represent Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, and MOE, Ministry of Environment. But up to that time, around the year 2000, they did themselves separately to deal with ocean issues. But it worked for a long time, up to that time. But climate change, this issue was, as you may be aware of, is shouted by the president of Maldives, and Maldives, initiated these issues, and now it's a global issue, climate change. And then, for example, biodiversity or overfishing or some other issues are interrelated, and there was no longer effective way to do that by themselves, segmentally. So they became aware of the importance to think about comprehensively for the ocean governance. But I will, introduce 3 active example stories why we need comprehensive ocean policy, ocean governance, developed by our Ocean Policy Research Institute, Saskia Peace Foundation. I will introduce one by one. The first one is legislation. It's more governmental issues. But, for example, legislators, lack of expertise, and university academia try to help them. But basically, academia has too much expertise, and they are not interested in comprehensive, research or study. And then public sector, they can handle, but again, sectionalism, sectorialism exist, and they cannot, they could not, work well, comprehensively, and of course, private sector, without any good profit, they cannot do anything. And then what we, Ocean Policy Research Institute, do is, since we are a non-profit organization and a public interest foundation, so we made the first step to put together in one platform. And at the year 2006, we started the study group. We launched a study group for the new law of ocean policy in Japan, and getting together all the actors from parliament members and private sectors, academia, everyone we put together in one platform, had almost 1.5 years, study group we established. And then 1 year later, in the year 2007, we were able to get started Basic Act on Action Ocean Policy, and this law was passed by Japanese parliament and also the Diet, and it worked very well. And what we did on this action is first set up the ocean policy headquarters in the cabinet office, and still now one of our members are working for this cabinet office ocean policy headquarters from our foundation. And also the second step is a basic plan for ocean policy was established. And now it's every 5 years. So now it's the fourth basic plan will be established early this year. And this is the first step we, Ocean Policy Research Institute made. And I'm going to the second topic, the blue carbon credit. Where the blue carbon credit come from? Initially, the United Nations adopted the Sustainable Development Goals, and also at the same time, Paris Agreement was adopted at COP21 in the year 2015. And then 3 years later, the third basic plan on ocean policy. The first one was established by ourselves, and it was at the year 2018, the third one was established, and then the third one included the declaration and adaptation of the United Nations and also COP21, and then it included the SDG 14th, and also the government of Japan declared carbon neutralization at that year. And then at the year 2020, we established Japan Blue Economy Association. So what we did is initially we tried to remove all carbon dioxide from all industry, all activities from human beings, but apparently it's impossible, right? So partly they can achieve, but partly they cannot achieve. Then some other organization like the seaweed industry and some other sectors can enhance, reducing not carbon emission, but carbon, reduction. So they work each other, and industry who cannot 100% reduce carbon, they pay to the organization who work specifically for carbon reduction, and then carbon reduction achieved, and then paid back as a credit. This is the mechanism of carbon credit. And it started very, local activities, because as we all know, any global solution composed of a local solution. We cannot do, comprehensively, at the same time from globally. So locally, we established this, for example, the seaweed planting activities, which can drastically reduce carbon. And then we estimated in the year 2050, this project, this business can expand. For example, only in Japan, 10 million tons of carbon dioxide will be credited, and with it equivalent to approximately 3 million US dollars. And in a global scale, about 2 billion tons and tens of billions of hundreds billions dollars. So it's a good business. But this is not just a dream. It's estimated based on our experience. It started in Yokohama, Japan, just one site in the year 2020. And just 1 year later, it increased 4, but still very small. But only 2 years later, it drastically increased. So based on this fact, so we estimated and targeted toward 2050. And this is a fact. And I hope this blue carbon credit go global. So Maldives is one of the good candidates to deal with these issues, because you can deal with in India, because they emit carbon dioxide a lot, but since they don't have any large field of ocean for seaweed growing, so you can have a good trade. And also, this mechanism can be applied for biodiversity issues. So we are now constructing the mechanism for the biodiversity credit. This is a future work, and I think everyone can be interested in. And the third example, which comprehensive ocean policy, ocean governance worked, I can introduce. this is a picture of the southernmost island area in Japan, Okinawa especially, which is called Taketomi area. And you can see in the right picture, beautiful coral reefs, quite similar to the situation in Maldives, and at the same time, they have their own culture. And these two, scenic view and also very ethnic culture attract many tourists, not only from Japan, but over the world. And as you can see, the shared, problem in between Taketomi area and Maldives. As you see, since island areas, it costs, high logistics, and also administration costs a lot. And the problem is education, and also no matter how they have good resources for tourism, but local income did not increase, and then eventually they nearly lost their not only sustainability but their original resources. They nearly lost. But recently, with the support of Ocean Policy Research Institute, they recovered. So I will tell you the story and the mechanism. First one is over-tourism. For example, the number of residents in Taketomi is only 4,000 in one, not only one island, but in some groups of islands, very small population. But every day, approximately 2,800 tourists coming, and it's 65% of the population from the tourism. But let's compare with most hot tourist spot in Japan, in Kyoto. Kyoto is very famous. It has a long history and very beautiful temples and shrines, and everyone who visits Japan wants to visit Kyoto. But in Kyoto, it's only 10% of the tourists, but still, it gives some big pressure for the residents. But at Taketomi, 65%. And eventually, due to the over-tourism, the damage of mangrove and also deterioration of coral reefs, and most serious issues is tourist just leaves garbage, waste, trash, a lot. And then people at Taketomi don't know how to solve, because simply the lack of the knowledge, the lack of the investment to solve this problem. But as you can see in this cartoon, local municipals apparently lack of manpower. And the senior government tried to focus for their own community, not comprehensive communication communities issues. And the business sector, again, if they are losing their attract and losing their we are a non-profit organization, and we don't pursue any profit. But based on our experience to have the legislation for the basic ocean plan for the governmental level, other island countries. So what we did First is scientific research. We have surveyed a lot why mangrove has been damaged so drastically at these areas. And we have found a very strong correlation with the speed of tourist boat damaged mangrove. But on the other hand, if we can have a good mangrove growth, mangrove can work, as you know, for tsunami, anti-tsunami, and also anti-flooding and anti-high wave phenomena. So we put #1 priority to recover mangrove forest along the coast of all islands of Taketomi. And then we propose the speed limit of a tourist boat. Usually speed limit is set for human being safety, but we set that rule for mangrove recovery. And within few years, it worked. Because this mechanism is based on scientific and technological, evidence. And we asked the university professors, what's the relationship, biology and the speed of boat? And the boat can big wave, and then it harmed the root of mangrove trees. So we set a new rule, just speed down when it reached to the area of a mangrove forest. That's it, but it worked quite well. And I think this mechanism can be applied also in the Maldives a lot. And another issues we did is we per person can work very well to regulate the number of tourists, and at the same time it will return back to the local, and then local people establish more and more sustainable ways. And this is the two simple but based on mechanism, science-based. To realize the governmental basic plan for ocean policy in local. Again, big issues should start to work at locally. But on the contrary, big issues should be composed of comprehensive understanding and also cooperation. And we play a key role for these issues in this box. And so far, I introduced 3 topics which ocean policy research. Also, this is a policy, but Ocean Policy Research Institute have been done and also still doing is to establish the capacity buildings issues. This is the most important because no matter how good legislation, how good rule, how good law established, if no one can do and no one can understand, it is nothing. So in that sense, we provide ocean education from kindergarten kids to high school, and also support university students to go to World Maritime University at Maumee. It's under United Nations IMO. Each year, we fully support 30 students to cover tuition and living expense, everything. And all those efforts we are making works very well to have more and more people comprehensively understand the situation and comprehensively good ocean governance. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sakaguchi, for sharing your insights. The keynote speech has enlightened us with information related to ocean governance and blue economy. Indeed, we are privileged to have Dr. Sakaguchi in attendance, and it is our hope that this symposium would open opportunities for future collaborations. Now I call upon guest of honor, Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Technology, Honorable Aminat Shauna, to deliver her speech. Honorable Aminat Shauna.
The leadership of the Maldives National University, ambassadors, high commissioners, excellencies, colleagues and friends, a very good morning. Dr. Sakaguchi, you have mentioned everything that I need to say. Maybe I could shorten this and say, bringing us together to discuss about ocean governance, which is so critical. Both Japan and the Maldives are big ocean states. We are island nations. We are custodians of the oceans that protect us, feed us, and brings revenue to our country. I believe that there are no better topics to discuss when we are celebrating the historic 55th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Japan. The ocean defines who we are as a nation. Our livelihood is dependent on the rich ocean and biodiversity around us. It's the ocean that fuels our economy, sustains our tourism, and for decades, the world has not succeeded in finding a good approach for governing our But we are beginning to receive the attention from policymakers that it deserves. World's oceans are under threat from climate change, pollution, and overuse. We are beginning to address many of the deep-rooted problems and the required major structural transformations that we need urgently. Just last December, the UN Biodiversity Conference and the world agreed to protect 30% of the oceans and land by 2030. But this alone is not going to protect the ocean. To reach these targets will require enormous amounts of work, resources, and most importantly, political will, I believe. In the Maldives, we are more than 100. One of our government's most successful policies is to take a giant leap We are home to world's 3% of coral reef ecosystems, and so far we have protected 13% of our reef area. We have 3 UNESCO biosphere reserves in the Maldives. The first was established just 10 years ago, and last year, after an independent review process, UNESCO has decided to extend biosphere reserve status to Ba Atoll in the Maldives. And this gives me confidence that we are doing the right thing in our conservation efforts. The remaining 2 UNESCO biosphere reserves were established 2 years ago, and we are in the process of developing the management plans for them. 10 years ago, we also banned shark fishing in the Maldives, and today we are considered by many a shark sanctuary in the Indian Ocean. Sustainability of our fisheries industry, combined with strong regulations and conservation policies, make our ocean 100% sustainably managed, one of the few in the world. Conservation is not only the responsibility of the government. We cannot have effective conservation without Currently, we have 3 resorts as candidates, and I hope every resort in the Maldives takes this opportunity to be part of our conservation program. One of our biggest challenges is plastic pollution, and to bring an end to the problem, we are currently implementing a phase-out plan of 13 most commonly used single-use plastic products in the Maldives. Under this phase-out plan, by the end of this year, we will be able to ban import, production, and usage of these single-use plastics in the Maldives. We're one of the few countries in the world who are able to do this at the moment. However, the biggest challenge, in my opinion, for us is and will continue to be in the years to come is climate change. We are observing sea level rise in the Maldives. Most of our islands are just about 1 meter above sea level, which makes us extremely vulnerable to incremental sea level rise as well. We are protected by coral reefs, and continued sea level rise and death of our coral reefs due to global warming is really an existential problem for us. We are seeing unprecedented impacts of climate change at 1.1 degrees Celsius of warming. I cannot imagine a world or a home under 1.5 degrees and beyond 1.5 degrees of warming. I can't imagine a home we are emerging from COVID as well. together, we will challenges that we face because of climate impacts. The world did come together for the public health emergency in just 18 months. If we are able to treat the climate emergency that we face, the climate crisis we face as an emergency, there's absolutely no way that we will not be able to agree to limit carbon emissions to bring down the global temperature. Absolutely no way that we will not be able to unlock trillions that are in the private sector to help countries like ours and to address the climate crisis. We need the political will to do that. And we have just about 82 months before we reach 2030. In the Maldives, we are committed to reduce even our own emissions, despite the fact that our contribution to global over 30% of our land and ocean areas as well. No matter how much we do here at home, what happens out there is what matters. Biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction needs to be agreed. Addressing plastic pollution needs to be urgently addressed by larger countries.
At this moment, we would like to highlight Honorable Minister's commitment to issues related with environment and stability. Thank you, Honorable Shauna, Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Technology. Now, I would humbly request the Chancellor of MNU to hand over a token of gratitude to the Ambassador of Japan, Her Excellency Takuchi Midori, in recognition and cooperation extended also like to request the Chancellor of MNU to hand over a token of appreciation to the keynote speaker, Dr. Sakaguchi, in recognition of the profoundly informative keynote address in this symposium. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the opening ceremony on the Ocean Governance Symposium. The next in the agenda will be the presentation of papers by various government stakeholders. This session will begin at 10:10 a.m. On behalf of the MNU, I wish to extend my sincere appreciation to the distinguished guests and participants who joined with us in this seminar. Please help yourself with refreshments served in the open area outside this auditorium. Thank you.